Alright, what is up everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here reporting in for another unit breakdown. And this time I'm going to break the little Rebel Empire breakdown that I'm doing right now and kind of go after Yoda because I really just hate ignoring the Republic and the CIS because, a lot of you guys also play them and I just want to do them justice. But I've been looking over Yoda for a while and trying to just think of all the different scenarios that I can. So I'm going to kind of give you guys what I have kind of come up with and a few list ideas that you guys can use. So you'll have to let me know how I did, what happened, and if you've used Yoda, I should say, and there's some instances you used him and he just really performed well, or there was something that was just awesome for you guys, go ahead and post it down below. And if you subscribe and post that down below, you are entered in to win the Battle Force giveaway that I will be announcing this week. Because this is a bonus video that I decided to go ahead and shoot for you guys. So I'll go ahead and talk about a few of the housekeeping stuff. If you haven't already, go ahead and head to the Discord. Become a member. Go ahead and just join up. It's free, it's easy, and you get to just chime in with, hey, I need some help, or hey, I have a question, or, if you're painting, feel free to go ahead and post that. Now, what we will be doing, or what I will be doing, is I've added, I forgot exactly where, but I think it would be probably under just voice channels, or, yeah, the Shadow Command chat right here. So, I'm going to be having a live Q&A with me and the Shadow Command, basically the admins of the Discord. And if you've got any questions, if you've got any comments, if you've got things that you want to see, or if there's whatever help you need, you can post it in the live Q&A, and I will tag everybody and say, hey, everybody, this is when we're going to be recording. If you have something to submit, be here at this time, and just start chatting away, and that'll be included. And if you are a Patreon, with the briefing room, you're going to be able to call in, and if you've got anything you want to say, or if you want to add to what we're talking about, you can add it. So that's going to be a perk for all of the people in Discord and on the Patreon. And then also, yeah, go ahead and head to the Patreon, where you get everything either ahead of time, or you get these little extra videos that I will record for everybody, and kind of give you guys extra insights as to what I've got. So I've got the Han and Chewie hostage exchange objectives and more for you guys to see. So I want to just thank right now the 3 Patreons, Kitsune, Anthony, and Tyson. I want to thank you guys so much for all that you do so far, and I'll announce that you guys at the end as well. And if you want, go ahead and head to theburnacademy.com for $15 a month. You can download the app, and you've got 3, 4, 5, and 6-day week workout programs, 30-minute torture programs, 120 different recipes, and I will be upgrading to another certification, or not upgrading, I should say. I'm just getting another certification to add to the 3 that I already have, and it will be specified in glutes. So I will be a bootyologist for all of you who want to know. Okay, so back to what we are here for. Yoda. All right. So, he's 200 points by himself. He's got 5 health, 4 courage, which is fantastic. That's Emperor Palpatine level courage. He's got red dice. He surges to crit, and he surges on defense with the red dice. He's only speed 1, just like Palpatine. And he's got Force Wave, which is a range 1 to 4 black. It's blast and suppressive, so they're not gonna get any cover, and they're gonna get an extra suppression, which is really nice with all of the rules that we have now. And just a quick side note, I think Yoda is going to be probably one of the better Force users up against Dark Troopers, and I'll explain why. Because of the Impact 2 Pierce 2, and he can attack twice, and then maybe the round before he either has Outmaneuver or Relentless, in which case he can use that. Now, also, I just think he's going to be good with all the new rules anyway, because with Blast, no cover, and then with the suppression where you can be panicked at any moment, the suppressive really helps. So yeah. And then he's got Guidance, which is an action, So he can choose another friendly trooper unit at range 1 to 2, and then that unit may perform a free non-attack action. So if you've got Wookiees, per se, you can guidance them to move, and then that would trigger charge. So technically, you're not allowed to do the attack action, but you'd be able to move them up and they can attack from charge. And with his 2-pip, which allows a unit that he gives an order to have Relentless, he can guidance that unit, and then they'll be able to shoot afterwards. And then maybe they go, and then they double move, or they maybe take an aim, move again, and shoot again with Relentless, giving that person a chance to attack twice, along with him then, attacking once. He can't attack twice because it would take 2 actions to attack twice with the Atari Mastery. So there's our segue. So you can perform up to 2 attack actions with him, but you cannot use the guidance, or you can't move or aim and then attack twice. It's both of his actions, as far as I understand. So after you perform an attack, you're going to gain a dodge. After you defend, you're going to gain an aim. And then while defending against a ranged attack, you can basically spend that dodge and gain surge to defense. Well, you've already got it, but your attacker is going to suffer a wound for each surge on your defense dice. So just like normal deflect. This is nice because if he were to basically have laid his 1 or 2 pip, where he gains charge and or relentless, he can double move into Dark Troopers, and then he'll be able to use his charge or relentless to have impact 2, pierce 2, surging to crit. So you're probably getting at least the 2 wounds through, and it's pierce 2, so you're taking out a model. And then maybe you lay his 1 pip down, where he gets to use any of his actions twice. Sure, if you want, but you don't even have to have that. You could just lay his 1 or 2 pip, or any other one down, give him an order, and have him go first. And then now you're going to be able to attack twice, which is impact 2, pierce 2 twice. So you're taking down probably another 2 models for your 2 attack actions. So that's 3 models down if you went last first with him with Dark Troopers. And then so there's probably two minis left, and that's 2 red, 2 white, and they don't surge. So you're probably going to be good with him in melee with Dark Troopers. And then after he performs those attacks, he's going to gain dodges. So he's going to gain 2 dodges. So even if they did wind up rolling those 2 red, he might be able to just dodge them both. So that's absolutely awesome. Also, if you maybe went last first and you laid down his 2 pip to go first, if maybe there was a way that, maybe they win the roll off, they use the Dark Troopers, they attack, well, you're going to gain an aim. And then you can attack twice, use one of those aims, but then when you attack, you're going to gain 2 dodges. And then if with this 2 pip, you can gain outmaneuver. So now, even if they did roll a crit in melee, you're dodging them. And then by the time you go again, if you were able to recover one of his command cards, not his 3 pip, but another 1 or 2 pip somehow, then you could, again, attack twice and just take out the last 2 remaining guys, and you're going to gain 2 dodges. So you're you're out in the open, but you've got your 2 dodges, and then depending on who's in your army, get more aims or dodges. And I'll kind of go over a few different lists I'd like to play at some point. Then he's got Immune to Pierce, which all Force users do, and he's got Master of the Force too. So out of the 3 Force slots, he's going to be able to recover 2 of them at the end. Yeah, so 4 red dice, starting to crit, impact 2, pierce 2, and he's got a command slot. So I don't know if I was clear on that. But yes, so not much health, high courage, really cool stuff that he can do. It's just a matter of perfecting how you get in there and how you use it. So size matters not is his 1 pip. So Yoda's going to gain jump 1, charge, disengage, and you're going to treat his speed as 3. So you don't necessarily have to have burst of speed to have him move speed 3. And you could do this twice during the whole game. And if you did have burst of speed, then that could be 3 times that you have him move speed 3. But I don't know when you would necessarily need that. But the disengage on 2 of them just makes a lot of sense. So, sorry, my bad. And then, I'm sorry, guys. During his activation, Yoda can perform any of his like normal actions like jump or guidance, and his free actions like maybe force push, force reflexes twice. So you could technically move at speed 3 and jump a building, and then you could do that again if there's something else in the way, like a barrier or terrain, something like that. He can jump 1 at speed 3 a second time, and then he's also got charge. So he'll be able to kind of jump in there at the very end. So maybe you use this card. You've already gone possibly with his 2-pip. You recover his 2-pip, but you've jumped twice and ended in melee with Dark Troopers, did your attack, maybe took 1 down. On the next one, since you were able to get your 2-pip back, then you lay your 2-pip down, and your 2-pip is going to allow you to recover your 3-pip, but your 1 and now your 2-pip could be in the discard pile, but you maybe go with like a 2-pip and then maybe his 3-pip at some point to get back his 1-pip. It just, however you want to maneuver it is fine. It just kind of depends on what you want. Basically, you could also disengage. So maybe if you were engaged with one of the minis and then you laid this down, because maybe you decided to have his 2-pip first because you've already laid everything down, and you double moved with Relentless and was able to attack, and then you go with this one. There's a way that you could speed 3 disengage and then another speed 3 jump to land into someone's back objective. That's something that you could do with this card as well. But you also have the ability to maybe use guidance twice and or his free actions twice. So maybe you were able to use force push twice, or maybe force guidance, which force guidance gives out 2 surge tokens. So maybe you were able to give out 2 surge tokens, and maybe if he had force reflexes, he could also give himself 2 dodges, and that's for free. And then, do whatever he needs to do. So he could guidance twice as his 2 actions, and then force guidance with the surges twice, and then give out himself some 2 dodges if he needed to. That's kind of a waste of a 1-pip, but those are just examples of things that you can do. And then you get to bring back There Is No Try from your discard pile when you lay this card down. So it's a really good 1-pip. It allows him to really move at speed 3 and get into melee as much as he can. Now, There Is No Try, his 2-pip, you're going to give it to Yoda and a trooper. So this trooper can be Wookiees, it can be a normal clone trooper, it could be just whatever. It could be ARCs, that'd be really nice. So when Yoda issues an order to a trooper unit, including himself, it gains Outmaneuver and Relentless. So he can spend dodges to cancel crits, and then Yoda and whoever you give the order to is going to gain a dodge. Then if Luminous Beings, which is your 3-pip, is in your discard pile, you can return it to your hand. So if you're playing your 1-pip, you can bring your 2-pip back. If you're playing your 2-pip, you can bring your 3-pip back. If you're playing your 3-pip, you can bring your 1-pip back, and so forth. Now, this is a good way to, if you've got a trooper unit, like a full unit with a Z6, or someone with Pierce, like if you had the shotgun that did have Pierce in it, well, they could move twice, and then they would have Relentless to be able to hopefully be in range for that Pierce. And then at some point, Yoda could move, and if he's in range, he could shoot his force, what is it? The force wave. He'd be able to shoot his force wave with Relentless, and that's blast. And then you might be able to have a trooper unit with a Z6 fire support with this Relentless. So if you were to have maybe a clone commander who was coordinating, or I should say directing, a clone core unit, and then maybe you had 5s on one of the core units who could coordinate to a Z6 unit. Well, now you've got 2 orders out already on the field, and then with There Is No Try, you can give it to Yoda and maybe a unit that's got the Pierce or just whatever. You go with Yoda, and you could move, fire with Relentless, and then maybe fire support with the Z6 so that the Z6 and that whole unit gains Surge to crit. So you're rolling at least, what, 4? We're going to say we have, maybe let's go with it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So Z6 is what, 6 white? Yeah. 6 white, 4 black, and then another 4 black. So that's 14 dice, surging to crit. I mean, that's not bad. That's really not bad. You're probably going to be able to get something in there. And then, for his second action, you can guidance. Maybe the unit that has the Pierce. So the DP 23 guy, maybe you could guidance them with a move, and then they use Relentless to finish off whatever the 14 dice couldn't finish off. So that's a good way of using the 2-pip to maybe try and do as much dice damage as possible. So yeah, that's always nice to do with his 2-pip. Alright, and then his 3-pip. Luminous Beings are we. Yoda's going to gain 2 aims, 2 dodges, 2 surges, but he cannot attack. And then friendly units at range 1 to 3 can spend Yoda's green tokens. So if you did have maybe you had someone who, like a clone commander next to you, and the clone commander has bolster. Well, you maybe bolster Yoda, and then Yoda can share those extra 2 surge tokens. If he'd have 4 surge tokens, he could share at range 3, instead of a clone trooper that could share it at range 1. Or also, you guidance, and then you've maybe used force reflexes to give yourself a 3rd dodge, and maybe you take an aim, and so you have 3 aims, 3 dodges, and 4 surge tokens. So that's a lot of tokens to be able to share at range 3. That's pretty cool. And or maybe he's next to Padme, and he's able to have his 2 aims, 2 dodges, 2 surges. And Padme has Exemplar, which she can share at range 1 to 2, so maybe Yoda's a little farther back away from everyone, or maybe Padme was able to scout, or something happened where maybe Padme's just a little farther and closer to a bunch of other units that maybe Yoda can't quite reach. Something like that, possibly. Well, you guidance is, I think, range 1 to 2, did I say? Right? Yeah. So maybe you guidance Padme, and she has quick thinking, so maybe she can quick thinking, and then her turn, she also does quick thinking, which is 2 aims, 2 dodges, and then she's got reliable 1 if you didn't divulge, which gives her a surge token, and then maybe she takes an aim or a dodge or whatever you needed as her second action. So that's either 3 aims and 2 dodges and a surge, or 3 dodges, 2 aims, and a surge. And then Yoda still has 2 aims, 2 dodges, 2 surges. There's so many tokens that you can just share between the 2 of them. And so I think that Padme is a really, really good match with Yoda. And then if size matters not, your 1-pip is in your discard pile. When you play your 3-pip, you can bring back your 1-pip, giving you the ability to play each one of these twice in a game. That's if he survives, and if you've gone in a specific order, obviously. So you just have to kind of be careful with that. All right, so let's take a look at a few lists. One with Padme. Now, Esteemed Leaders here is just because if Yoda is really, getting shot at, or you plan on having Yoda kind of a little bit more forward, he's going to get hit quite a bit. But I think one of the other best ones to have is Inspiring Presence. And sorry, hold on. Yes, I did talk about Yoda and his command cards. Let me go over some of the unit upgrades, I should say. The upgrades that I think are good on him. And then I'll go over the list. Sorry, kind of gave you a little spoiler there, but that's okay. So Battle Meditation. While you are issuing orders using a command card, you may issue one of those orders to any friendly unit on the battlefield instead of a unit indicated on the command card. So maybe with Yoda's cards, it has to give it to him, obviously. and or his 3-pip you can give to anybody. It's each eligible unit. I can't talk for some reason. Well, maybe there's a unit that is kind of outside of that range 3 band. Well, instead of giving it to Yoda, you can give that unit or another unit that's farther away in order so that the only one left in the bag is Yoda. So that's one way of having good order control with his 3-pip, and or maybe there's an important timing of something. Battle meditation is okay to have on him. I don't think it's a must, but it's something that it can be done. Burst of speed, with his 1-pip, you're technically having the ability to have speed 3 twice in the game, but if in case you think you're only going to be able to use the card once, timing-wise, or you just want him to be inside and make him way more aggressive, then Burst of Speed could actually be very good on him. Force Barrier, I think, is absolutely amazing because he's got Force Master of the Force 2, so he's going to be able to recover it kind of easier than someone with Master of the Force 1. So Force Barrier is going to be good, and it's just going to help keep your army alive a little bit better. Force Guidance, I think, is also good because you can choose up to 2 friendly units at range 1 to 2, and they're going to gain a surge, and then sometimes you can use your free actions twice with his 1-pip. So being able to do that multiple times is very, very beneficial, especially using those surge tokens for offense, especially defense, to keep your guys alive a little longer and give your opponent less skill points. Force Lift, I think it's also a good one to have. It isn't required. I think it's more maybe circumstantial. But the fact that everyone's going to have heavy cover with basically everything at this point, I don't know if it's needed. But in case you needed Yoda to have heavy cover or some of your army to have heavy cover, and you can use this twice on your 1-pip, being able to move it within range 1 twice could help move your army up faster with more cover. It's just possible. Force Push, I think, is a good one and almost a must because you can always use Force Push, and it's always helpful for like key positions and intercept the transmissions, stuff like that, hostage exchange, recover the supplies. There's so many objectives that really benefit from if you have Force Push. Force Reflexes could be really good. Like I stated, even with his 3-pip, you'd be able to use this for other people on that one, and or if you lay his 1-pip down and you wanted to use Force Reflexes twice to gain 2 dodges just in case, that's always a plus. Hope, I don't think you're going to need. Jedi Mind Trick, I don't think is as beneficial on him as it is Operative Luke or just Luke in general. No, yeah, Operative Luke probably. And then Saber Throw, he's already got a ranged attack, so you don't necessarily have to have that. And just for the command upgrades, Aggressive Tactics could be good, but not on Yoda. I think it's a waste of kind of what I think. Commanding Presence could be better, especially for his 3-pip. And if he's your only commander, maybe, sure. Esteemed Leader could be really good, especially if you don't have Chewie to protect you, and you feel like you might have Yoda out in the open a little bit more, then Esteemed Leader could be great. Improvised Orders is always if you've got the ability to take it, try and take it. Inspiring Presence on Yoda, I think, is amazing because he's got Courage 4, and then you're going to be able to use that Courage at range 1 to 4 instead of range 1 to 3. And since Yoda is slow, Inspiring Presence could be very beneficial in making sure that he does stay back a little bit more and still provide courage for the entire army. And there's a condition, I think is it Weary, I think, that it reduces the range that units can use your courage value by 2. So if you had Inspiring Presence, you could include that in your conditions, and while you would have range 2 instead of 4, your opponent would only have range 1, making their army try to stay closer to their commanders. Lead by example, again, you might not necessarily need strict orders either. Underworld Connections, you don't have to have in Republic at all because they don't even have a lot of stuff that you would use. Maybe pikes, but for the most part, I doubt it. Vigilance, it could also be really important, especially when you are getting stuck in melee and you attack twice. You get 2 dodges, and if your opponent's already gone, well, you're not going to be able to use those dodges, but if you have Vigilance, you can start the next round with one. So Vigilance could be another good one to have on Yoda. So those are the upgrades. That's really it. So now let's kind of look at the lists. I've got Yoda with Force Barrier, Force Guidance, and Force Push with Inspiring Presence. And I've got Padme with Seize the Initiative so that she can give an order to somebody. So maybe if with Our Fate is in your hands and you really need order control, well, instead of giving the order to Padme, because of authoritative, so whenever you'd be issuing an order, you can issue an order to another friendly unit at range 1 and 2 instead. It doesn't say clone, it just has another unit. So you would be able to give that order to Yoda to make sure that he has that order. And then maybe you use Seize the Initiative in case it is important that she have an order at the time. So yeah, there's that. And then you have Size Matters Not, and then maybe you know you're going first, so maybe you also pop Padme's Seize the Initiative, give it to Fives. Fives coordinates to phase 1s or whoever else. I mean, it's just kind of whatever. Let's see. Yeah, that's it for at the moment. And then you've got 3 phase 1s. You have one with the Z6 because hopefully fire supporting, maybe even with the 2-pip on another point in time, or if there's a way that you use maybe aggressive tactics when Padme issues an order to a friendly trooper unit, that unit can perform a speed 1 move or gain an aim, a dodge, or surge. So if they needed to move up closer to where they could fire support at some point, that would be nice to have. But I have a Z6 in almost every list with Yoda, so in case he wants to use his Force Throw, right? What is it? Force Wave. If he wants to use his ranged attack, you can basically fire support with a Z6 because he surges to crit, and then with all of those dice, yeah, that's a pretty nice to have. I've got 5s and the DC 15 for the critical 1, and then I've got 2 arc strike teams, one with Echo, one with the DC 15 arcs, and then I've got 2 bark speeders to kind of just go along with that to get ahead. And then I'm trying to use Padme to protect Yoda as much as possible. And then, especially when Yoda lays his 3-pip down and he can't attack, he's going to have the 2 aims, 2 dodges, 2 surges. Now, he can use Force Guidance to have Padme do quick thinking, like I was saying earlier, which just provides even more aims and dodges for either Yoda or for other people. So Yoda's going to be constantly protected. You've got so much. And then with aggressive negotiations, maybe Padme and Yoda, or maybe you give it to Padme and she authoritatively gives it to Yoda, and then maybe with this one you give the other order, I should say, you give it to 5s who can coordinate to maybe the Z6, and then you have Yoda do a speed 1 move because you gave it to him, and then you have 5s maybe do a speed 1 move. Or you have the hostage unit do a free speed 1 move. And then Yoda can always guide into hostage unit to move as well. And then the unit itself can double move. So there's ways that you can keep moving your hostage unit pretty far when you've got Yoda. And then even so, if you wanted to technically kind of, I would say, waste Yoda's activation, use his turn up with his 1-pip, is if you were to guidance the hostage unit twice, and they could double move, basically, and then during their turn, they could double move, and then you've got your hostage unit all freed up, and made probably within your ranks and your lines. And then maybe aggressive negotiations, you get to move them again, and then guidance them at some point again, and then they could double move. Even with the recover the supplies, if maybe you were able to recover the supplies, maybe you did divulge, or you didn't, maybe you did divulge and had secret mission and she was able to infiltrate, and maybe you just went with her first and put her immediately on the objective. Well, instead of giving it to Padme, maybe you gave it to Yoda, and then maybe you're looking in the bag for Padme and she claims, or maybe you just immediately give it to her. Yeah, you give it to her. She would coordinate it to hopefully Yoda if Yoda's in that range 1 to 2, and then you could use Seize the Initiative to give her an order. That's possible. That's if maybe you were with hemmed in, because you would be close enough at that point probably. But there's ways to really move things and move units a lot with this list. Yeah, all right. And the objectives I've got are breakthrough, key positions, hostage, and recover. And then fortify positions, clear conditions, limited visibility, and supply drop. And I'm going to leave a link for these lists down below. I have another one without Padme this time, but a little bit more order control with the commanders, because, you know, there's at least 2 of them in there, so you've got a good chance of getting one a little faster. You've got Yoda, again, with the same thing, same upgrades. You're welcome to change at some point to different ones. Maybe there's something that you just don't like here, or maybe instead of Force Guidance, you wanted Force Barrier, or not Force Barrier, sorry, the Force Lift, something like that. Maybe Force Reflexes, because those are 5 points. It's just a 5-point upgrade that you can just easily change out for something. I've got Clone Commander with Improvised Orders and Portable Scanner, so that if Yoda needs to guidance him to give Yoda himself another dodge, so maybe you played Yoda's 3-pip, giving him the 2 aims, 2 dodges, 2 surges, and then maybe you had Force Reflexes on here. Well, you use Force Reflexes to give yourself a 3rd dodge. You guidance the Clone Commander to give yourself a 4th dodge, and then as another action, you take a dodge, and so that's your 5th dodge. So you have 5 dodges and 2 aims, 2 surges. You could also have him use Bolster. So there's lots of options to be able to use guidance on the Clone Commander and things that he can do. So that's why I've got portable scanners on there. And then I've got the phase 1 with a Z6, just because of that fire support shot. I've got the phase 2s with the mortar, just in case you also need to force guidance the phase 2. They could move, and then when it's their turn, they could then shoot and move or take an aim, whatever they need to do, because they're probably in position at that point. I've got a phase 2 with 5s and a clone medic, just in case Yoda needs that extra heal. And then I've got a strike team with Echo and 3 barks this time. So instead of basically Padme and something else, I was able to do 3 barks to be able to get ahead, and then just have Yoda supporting and the Clone Commander supporting these other units. Also, you could guidance the ARC Trooper strike teams, and since they have tactical, that's another way of just helping yourself generate an aim. So that's why I also like the ARCs with Yoda. And then you've got your stereotypical, or not stereotypical, I should say, but your thematic list with Yoda and Wookiees. Got Yoda again with the same stuff, except instead of inspiring presence, I have vigilance. And then I've got Chewie with tenacity and protector to be able to help Yoda have to dodge crits, and Chewie can guardian hits away from Yoda. I've got the Wookiee warriors again because guidance will help them move, and then charge would trigger from that. And then, you know, being able to just kind of help them get up quicker is always a good thing. And then just 5 naked phase 1 clone troopers. It's 9 activations again. They're all 9 activations. And yeah, that's just a nice little Wookiee list. You've got to be very careful with these guys because they're very fragile, especially when they don't get those surges. That's why I've got Force Guidance on this one particularly, is to try and help those Wookiee warriors get a surge. And for melee, good luck trying to get a really good melee. So for skirmish, wow, I don't know. Sorry, guys. For skirmish, good luck. Good luck trying to get a really good high activation list with a bunch of bodies, because you've got the 2 strike teams here, and then you've got a phase 2, phase 1. It's 500, it's 5-ax. You got force push, barrier, and guidance again on Yoda. You can never have enough tokens, I feel like. And then the phase 1s to either generate tokens or just to kind of move in for an objectives. The phase 2s with the C6 and clone medic for all of that amount of fire support. And then your strike teams for that long range and or just trying to maneuver their way around. That I can't really think of too many amazing skirmish lists. There are probably 4 activations, possibly. Maybe 3. So it's just tough with Yoda and skirmish. But that is it, guys. I will come out on Thursday with the winner of the Battle Force box, and may the Force be with you on that day. It's going to be a good day. And I hope you guys enjoyed these lists. If you've got any questions or if you've got anything to add with Yoda, feel free to comment it down below. Definitely subscribe. Definitely go ahead and visit the Discord. Go ahead and start asking away. Start doing what you can. Okay, whatever you've got, feel free. If you play TTS and you play Legion online, go ahead and put it in here. Ask away. The more people we have playing TTS, at some point we could probably get a little league together and go in playing with the Legion terrain. Maybe they have something that they do, and the Yavin based stuff, Team League. So there's a lot of other ways that we can use online gaming in the future. And then whenever we do the Shadow Command videos, that we'll be doing that on Thursdays. So I'll be able to tell you guys the time to show up, and hopefully you guys can give your input. And if you are a Patreon member, you'll be able to go to the briefing room during that time and ask us anything, talk with us, join in on the conversation. And all you have to do is head to Clan of Shadows on Patreon and become a member. That's all. That's all you got to really do. And then you feel free to head to theburnacademy.com, subscribe for $15 a month, and download the app. I've been a personal trainer since 2012, so I've been a trainer for 11 years. I've had a lot of people come with me at different things: weight loss, building muscle. They've had knee issues and they want to get back to running. I've helped everybody as much as I can, and if there's something I can't do, just let me know. If you do decide to download this app and you are having trouble with something, feel free to message me. You can even take a video of your form and I can correct you. Lots of ways to make yourself way better in the gym, and it helps your health big time. All right, guys. If you haven't already, go ahead and say thank you to Kitsune, Anthony, and Tyson. I really appreciate you guys and everything you do for this channel, and I will see you guys in another video. Peace.